so important to talk about it this early in the year, just so
Yes.
that we rethink on our concept of New Year, New Me.
Yes.
We have so many people from class joining in. I
Oh,
love that.
yes. It's like a big get together, family get together on a Sunday
Yeah,
evening. Yes. Yes.
absolutely. Okay, wonderful. Let's start. I'll just quickly start by introducing Dr. Heena Kamble. She's a PhD in positive organizational psychology from University of Mumbai and is currently working as an assistant professor at NMIMS Deemed-to-be-University. That is also where I know her from. It's a privilege to know her really. She holds expertise in research in mindfulness and contemplative science. She has several national and international publications to her name, along with the receipt of many national and international scholarships and bursaries from institutes, including the University of Oxford. She's also a three times gold medalist in economics. Wow, okay. She's a poet, a blogger, and an insight meditation practitioner since 2012. And she's a huge anime and K drama fan. Of course, we're going to be hearing about that. Uh, Wonderful. Okay. Today's topic is New Year, New Me. Ma'am, what do you
Yeah.
think about the entire just what's the first thing that comes to your mind when you think of New Year, New Me?
The first thing that comes to my mind, New Year, New Me, is basically the idealism that surrounds the word new me. Because if we really take this new me seriously, then actually new day, new me should be the norm. Because every day is a new beginning. But why do we have to wait for 364 days to start on the journey of new? So the idealism and the perception of the word new that is related to the new year, why it has to be a long 364 days of wait? Why postpone your happiness by 364 days? So that is, it's like you are metamorphosizing every day. So that is my concept of new me rather than new year, new. Yeah, like that.
While I agree to almost everything that you said, why do you think there is such a hype around this concept New Year, New Me? Like everybody's talking about it in the first week of January, like you said. Everybody's so excited about it. Everybody's posting that this year, this is what I'm going to do. That is what I'm going to do. I'm going to leave this in last year. All of that. Why do you think there is so much hype about it?
Because human beings, they basically, according to me, human beings, they like being goal oriented. So whether it is at work, whether it is in college, university, even relationships, marriage, relationship with your family, we always have a goal that we are trying to seek, bettering a relationship, bettering our health, bettering our marks. So we, as human beings, we are hardwired to move towards better. And
Right.
one way to move towards better is to have a goal.
Yeah.
The goal can be abstract, but just for the sake that there is something that there is yet to be achieved, there is something that I have not achieved, that kind of feeling gives rise to the feeling of I need to have a goal. And that is the reason most of the people, they have their goals even during their exam में भी goal रहता है कि इतने marks चाहिए है, तो new year में goal रहेगा I am going to be this. And during the birthdays also there are goals, I want to be this during my this year, this time. And another aspect that I also feel that people hype a lot about new year, new me is because they know what they want to be. And at the same time, they know that at this moment they are not that.
Yes.
So
So
they just consider, yeah.
while we're talking about goals, would you like to share some goals that you have perhaps set for yourself this year?
Yes, I have. It comes from my mentor, and it is a very doable goal. Uh,
Okay.
it's not a very idealistic goal कि मैं सबको आप करके बुलाऊंगी. Even the kids who are young, who are elder than me, of course उन्हें आप कहते हैं. तो but जो बच्चे हैं उन्हें भी आप कह के बुलाएंगे. Because the way you speak affects the vibrations that you feel inside your body, and the more respect you give out, the more respect you will get. So that is the only resolution that I'm having. And because
That is
also it's doable.
Yeah, that is actually so nice. I mean, when I think about it, that really makes a lot of sense. And like you said, it is doable. Um, but while we're talking about idealism, um, how do you think we understand the line between setting idealistic goals and setting realistic goals? Because I feel like a lot of people face difficulty when it comes to, like you said, most goals are very abstract. But when
Yeah.
goals are attached to, when goals are quantified, like if I just say that I want to get fitter, is very different than when I say that I want to be able to lift 10 kgs of weight.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yes.
So, where do you think we can draw the line when we're setting goals, when it comes to setting realistic goals rather than idealistic goals?
Hmm. So this is something that I came across in sports psychology lectures. So there we had a big chapter on goal setting itself, and actually the problem most of the people have is not about goal setting, but how to reach their goals. So goals to सारे बना लेते हैं, but they don't have a clear cut plan as to how to achieve the goals. So most of the time, they give up. People give up because they are not getting the rewards that they are expecting, and they are not getting those rewards that they are expecting not because they are not reaching the goal, but because they don't know how to reach the goal. So the goal setting has failed not because the goal was not achieved, but because we did not come up with a strategy plan to reach the goal. And that is how we can completely divide the goal that is abstract and goal that is doable. We come up with a strategy plan to achieve it. Like what you said, I want to be fitter is completely an abstract goal, but
Yes.
then I want to lift 10 kgs of weight. That is doable. In the
Yes.
beginning, even 10 kgs can be a lot for some people. So
Yeah.
2 kgs, then the next week 4 kgs, something like that. So, and another thing that will keep us on the track of goal setting is that we are getting rewards every now and then because they will act as motivators that we keep on
Yes.
pursuing on the goal. Otherwise, the path to the goal will be very dry and you will give up. And that is why goals are given up at the middle of the second week
Yes.
of January.
So that is exactly what I was coming to. Do you think people stop working on their resolutions or the new me that they want to work on because there is a lack of reward, or because they set too many goals too soon?
Uh, we cannot set up too many goals too soon if we have a good plan to reach the goals. Because
Okay.
once we break down the goals, we know what we have to do. And I feel it
Yes.
is not just the absence of rewards, instant rewards, that make people lose their track of the goal, but it is also the lack of support. So
Okay.
if you have to become fitter, and if you are surrounded by people who say that you cannot ever be fit, no matter how many rewards you're getting, it's not going to work.
Yes. That
So
is
there
very
has to
true.
be at least one supporter and then reward system. Both are important to achieve the goal.
Yes. Um, Ma'am, like you mentioned in your first answer, that we don't, we shouldn't wait 364 days to, you know, just do things that make us happy or actually start working towards something. But most of these goals usually apply to personal and professional both goals. Do you think
Yes.
having such deadlines or having such deadlines in terms of having a vision, because a lot of people when they say new year new me, they have a vision in their head that by the
Yeah.
end of this year this is what I want to be. So do you think
Yeah.
having this deadline helps more than it, detriments your esteem, your confidence? Because a lot of times, like we spoke about, you're not able to follow up on whatever you want.
Mhm. Mhm. Now, there are two aspects to this answer, professional goals that you said, and also the personal goals. If
Yes.
you ask me, then deadlines for personal goals is going to lead to more anxiety. because
Okay.
because healing is a very non-linear path. You never know when you will relapse back. People feel once they start meditating, the graph will be like this. It's not going to be like this, it will be like this.
Hmm.
This is how the graph is going to be. So
Yes.
setting deadlines for the personal goals, unless and until they are related to your physique or body, I won't personally recommend that, क्योंकि मेरे से तो नहीं होता है. Because then you become too hard on yourself, and then reaching your goal is just another way of beating yourself down
Yes.
if you give deadline as far as personal goals are concerned. And that is a big habit of this generation, that we are never enough no matter what we do. And we don't want our goal setting strategy so that we are reinforcing that belief again and again. So you
Yes.
gotta be gentle on yourself, people, at least when you're trying to reach your goal. Personal goals. Now, professional goals, yes, we could have a deadline. And again, it depends on people, person to person. Say, for example, if it's a researcher, you can say, like, I want to have this many data, this much of data collected by the end of this year. So that kind of planning is going to help you have your work done in the amount of time that it is supposed to be done. Otherwise, उसमें अगर deadline नहीं रहा तो वो procrastinate होगा. And because
Yes.
it's a professional goal, procrastination is not going to help. And any aspect of your professional life that is not working properly will seep itself into your personal life. Both are interconnected. So you have
Absolutely.
to be good at professional life so that you're also motivated to chase your goals in your personal life. So दोनों के लिए अलग अलग goal setting and deadline रहना चाहिए.
Fair enough. Again, coming back to the entire concept of New Year, New Me, there are a lot of times, even if I talk personally, there have been a lot of times when in December, because there's another hype around the end of another year, right? Like as it comes with New Year, New Me, we mostly attach it to hope. But when we're talking about an end of another year, it is very subjective for everybody. For some people whose year wasn't very good, they're very glad about it and they look forward to a new year with a lot of hope. But there are some people who are at a point where the concept of new year, new me sort of overwhelms them because they're already so down in a rut that they're like, I've passed through this year, that was enough, more than enough for me. I'm not sure how I'm going to be able to go through another year. And when it comes to this, there are a lot of people around them that are constantly buzzing on New Year, New Me. They are putting their goals out in the, out in the open. They're talking about it on social media. So, what do you feel about this? What about the people who are not in a good place transitioning from a year to another?
Okay. Uh, One very important thing that I read about goal setting, just what you mentioned, Abhi, that they put out the goals in the public.
Yeah.
They declare it in front of the
Yes.
world. Actually, there have been studies that are saying that you should keep your goals to yourself for them to be completed, for them to be accomplished. जिसे हम
Okay.
इंडियन लैंग्वेज में कहेंगे नजर लग जाएगी. तो
Yes.
science also says it has its proper logical reasoning as to why goals should not be put out in front of the world until they are accomplished. तो बच्चे ऐसा नहीं करेंगे हम. We will keep our important goals to ourselves, and when they are accomplished, then we go on talking about them. And you don't even have to talk about them. People will just witness your goals coming to fruition. And another thing, people being overwhelmed that New Year, New Me is like a big task. It is directly linked to how their self-esteem had been during the previous year.
Hmm.
Now, even people who have had an amazing year, even they can be overwhelmed. They will be like, नया साल कैसा होगा क्योंकि ये तो बहुत अच्छा था.
Yes.
And then there will be some people, ये साल बहुत ही घटिया था. Hopefully next साल अच्छा होगा, so they will be happy. And
Yes.
then there are people like me कि this is was an amazing year. Next year is also going to be amazing. So their self-esteem is very much balanced in that.
Yes.
I feel how you perceive New Year, New Me is very much dependent how your self-esteem has been with respect to your old me.
Yes. Um,
Because you cannot have a new me without an old you. You cannot shade
that
it completely
that
aside.
that is very true. So even when I think about the concept of New Year, New Me, it seems a little flawed when it comes to, just believing that my life will take a 180-degree turn with the clock hitting 12 o'clock on New Year's Eve, right? Which it's very flawed in terms of that just sort of seems impossible, right? Which and something that is impossible to do will make me feel more negatively about it because I know it is something that I want, but it is not in my control to do. It's not like the clock is just going to hit and there's going to be some magical fairy who's going to come and be like, okay, this is the change that you wanted. Here you go. 31st, you're like this, and first, you're like this, right? But when we talk about external influence on my perception of New Year, New Me, social media plays a huge, huge role. And we've been talking about it constantly in our other questions also. How, when I am seeing other people uploading stories about what they want to do for New Year, New Me, you who's not on social media, who's very disconnected from the entire real world, if I may say that, um, how do you feel that? How do you feel that makes you different from the people who are there on social media constantly in the budge of New Year, New Me in the first few weeks of January?
It's more about I'm not comparing myself with anybody else. So I'm more focused on my goal. It's like that. So I don't understand. I mean, I chose not to be on social media. Even on blog, I don't have the subscription button. I don't have the leave a feedback comment or what you feel about it. Not even a like button or anything because I know I like popularity. And the moment I start writing for popularity, my creativity will take a rock bottom turn.
That's
So I wanted to, even through my blog, I wanted it to be a medium of expression and not impressing others. And when we say impressing others, comparison comes by default. So
yes,
then I have a lot of people who are doing better than me. Their goals are different, but the rate at which the goals are accomplished, we compare each other on the basis of that.
yeah,
कि उसका कितने जल्दी goal accomplish हो गया. दोनों को ही you said in the beginning 10 kilo uthana hai for having a better body, a fitter body, but I am able to do that in 15 days, but the other person ended up doing it in like what, a workout of 7 days.
yes.
So even if they have accomplished the goal, the reward has not been received.
Just
And like I said
because
in the
I'm
beginning,
comparing.
yes, just because of comparison. So the value of it, the value of the feeling that you will feel when you have accomplished the goal will reduce if there are a lot of people to compare with. And man being a social animal, we tend to compare our happiness with other people's happiness, our goals with other people's goals. So jitne kam log utna kam drama. So that is what
Yes.
I feel. So here I am competing only with myself and something that is so doable कि मुझे बस आप बोलना है सभी को. That makes me feel good. I'm not doing it to impress anybody, but that just makes me feel good. So it's a doable goal. And because I'm able to accomplish one goal, I'm also able to have more confidence while accomplishing other goals.
Yes.
Because this feeling permeates into all the goals that you're going to accomplish hereafter. So comparison kills joy. And comparison is the basis on which social media is working.
Do you think that this online, online trajectory of New Year, New Me follows us into an offline thing? Because time is a concept which is universal, right? Like all
Yeah.
of us know that it's a new day, it's a new year. And especially this year because the year really started on like Monday. So it was a
Yes.
new day, new week, new
Yes.
month, new year, everything, right? Do you think that transits into the offline world? Because especially people who are around me, I'm still looking at them, into this entire new being of themselves in the first few weeks of January, where they are like, oh, this is my year. And, I've left this all in the last year. And this is who I'm going to be. Do you think that transits into offline life? And do you feel it is sort of a human tendency to, believe that, okay, if it is a new anything, not just new year, if it's a new day, if it's a new week, that I'm going to be something different or I'm not going to be who I was in the last week or yesterday or last month. Do you think that's human tendency? Because if it is, then it doesn't just lie in the online world, right? I mean, I'm sure it lies somewhere in the offline world, maybe at the back of our heads because we're not standing here with posters that new week, new me. Today's Monday. I'm going to be someone else this week, right? But at the back of our heads, maybe it lies somewhere that this is a new week, or even if this is a new semester. I hear a lot of people saying that this is a new semester. We're going to study from day one this semester. We're not going to be like we were in the last semester. So this concept in itself feels a little flawed. What do you feel about that? Like the offline part of it, new dash new me.
Yes, I think it has not got anything to do with new semester, new week, or a new year. It is basically our pursuit of novelty.
Okay.
We feel, because if we are going for, say, hiking for the first time, the newness of it is going to give us that kick,
Yes.
the way we experience it. And somewhere down the line, human mind knows that we are seeking novelty in everything. So new year is just an extension of it. Because like you said, this year it began with a Monday, so people were very happy on a
Yeah.
Monday. But after 1 month, people will be hating Monday. I think people are already hating Monday. चलो फिर से जाना पड़ेगा, weekend खत्म हो रहा है, this and that.
Yes.
But then where did it all vanish away? The newness vanished away.
Yes.
And that is why I said in the beginning, instead of having new year, if it is a new day, then the energy that you get by the freshness of newness, that will remain relatively more consistent. So when it comes down to seeping the new year in new me into the offline world, it is not the new year, new me, it is the newness of the concept. That's it. We are
Right.
constantly seeking something new, thinking that it will give us newer and better rewards.
Yes. Um,
But once the new becomes old, it is not giving us the same kind of reward, according to us.
so even when it comes to, I'm still trying to wrap my head around the fact that New Year, New Me is something that has lasted, or that has been there since a lot of years. So there are, even if, say, suppose even me, for example, if I failed with this concept of New Year, New Me, and I've been failing it since last 2 years, why is it so that every year I want to come back to it? Like, I know for a fact that 2020, I thought of New Year, New Me. I failed. Maybe after a month, maybe after two. 2021, again, I thought of, okay, New Year, New Me. This year is going to be my year. Again, somewhere down the line, the graph went low. Again, it keeps happening. Then why do we still keep coming back to it? Like, how does this work?
Because I feel that human beings, somewhere down the line, you also, somewhere down the line that we can make it happen. And hope is an undying force in every human being. That is why
Yes.
even if we are failing, we know we can do it if we put our minds to it and then we try it again the next. So that is why I feel we should be having New Year parties every 6 months.
Uh, but do you believe that will still bring the newness because the year hasn't changed, right? Like we're still writing in the day 2024.
Yes, then again, it all boils down to the perception. What we feel, what we perceive as new is going to be new. And
That's true.
if you talk about spiritually and everything, everywhere you will see it's a new day, it's a new world. Even Brian Adams' song that it was very famous, this is
Yes.
new life, everything mine. So it's more about the perception of newness rather than the date and the year and the day of the new beginnings.
Yes.
So new beginnings, if you want, they don't have any dates. New beginnings is more about your choice. I want it now, the new beginning, it is going to happen. So it's more about how you perceive the definition of new to be.
How do you feel we should modify our perception or definition of newness? How do we redefine this new year, new me?
Ah, I like that question because if you ask me, my personal growth has never been about new me. It has been more about new not me.
Okay.
In the sense, because I have been into insight meditation since like what 10, 12 years now. So
Yes.
there we usually start with we are not going to do this, we are not going to do this, we are not going to do this, and then we get on to what we want to do. So a lot of times the things that we are facing, the habits that we have, they have been learned socially from somewhere else. We pick up those habits. These habits, they don't come up inside of us all from themselves. So if we decide I don't want to be that person, then it becomes a lot more easier because we know who we are and we
Yes.
don't want to be that person trying to incorporate the habits of that person. So here the bad habit has been detached from our identity because we know that we are not that person. So this new not me has been more helpful than new me, because when we say new me, it becomes very idealistic. We are
Yes.
like हम तो पढ़ाई में अभी हम तो गणपति पापा बन जाएंगे, that kind of thing. I mean, that is so idealistic. Just the thought of it makes you feel good, but when you start approaching it, it's
Yeah.
all gone. It is not
Yeah.
doable anymore. But when I say I don't want to be that, I don't want to be that person, and I'm not going to be that person, that makes us more mindful of our actions. And if we are able to do that, say no to that habit, even once, it will be easier to say no to that habit the next time, and then third
Yes.
time, and then the fourth time. So it's much more doable, at least for me. The new not rather than the new. So that would be my suggestion to make it a little more practical. New not me rather than new.
Um, quickly coming back to maybe a little personal question, but was there ever a point in your life where you were wrapped around with this concept of, newness or the date changing and you trying to change yourself or a part of you? How was that journey from, or like how was that experience of being there and now realizing that okay, maybe not, that is not it, you know?
It happens every day for me, every morning. That is why I started the entire conversation with why it has to be new year, new me, when it can be new day, new me. So
Yes.
I love snakes for a reason, because they have the ability to shade their skin whenever they want to and come out afresh. So it's very metaphorical in the sense that you can shed your past whenever you want to and come out afresh. And actually, snakes, that process is extremely painful for them, shedding their skin, and because they need rest, they are very sensitive during that time. They're very sensitive to the sounds, and they are like touch me not kind of phase. It's very
Yeah.
difficult for them, but they do it very often nonetheless, because they know the importance of it. So even for me, that has been the process of like every day shedding the skin every morning, and it's not easy, because we love our suffering so much that we don't want to let it go because it has become familiar,
Yeah.
right? And we know the happiness that we seek is right in front of our eyes, but it is difficult to get a hold of it because it is unfamiliar, it is unknown, and we are scared of the unknown and the unfamiliar. So it's a task every day, but I'm getting better at it. And the task of getting better at achieving goals, that is also a skill. You have
Yes.
to keep on doing it again and again. You have to fail again and again. Then you will win again and again. So failure and not repeating the same mistake twice is the key to it. That's it. But don't be afraid of making mistakes, and be prepared that you're not going to reach your goals the way you want to, the speed at which you want yourself reaching the goal. It's not going to happen, and be prepared for that. And then it will be fun. Then it will
That sort
be
of,
no more idealistic in me.
yeah, that sort of already answers the next question I had. I wanted to ask, how would you deal with the fact that okay, maybe one day, because you said it is a daily thing for you to, new day and new me. What if some days you can't be that new me that you want to? How
Mm-hmm.
how do you feel about it the next day? Because again, it's a habit, right? And if you skip like 2, 3 days in continuous,
Right,
it's very difficult to get that habit back.
right.
So how are the days when it doesn't work for you? When it doesn't,
Yep,
you're not up in the morning and you're not like today I will be a new me.
right. So, yes, so for that, I practice two things. First of all, I tell this to somebody, especially my mom and my brother, my family. आज तो नहीं होगा, आज तो मैं पुरानी हूँ. So
Okay.
that kind of support system is very important, because then they give me the love that the me at that lifetime needs. And because of that, the second factor comes in. It's okay, self compassion.
Yes.
Yes, but I cannot, and this has been happening lately since last 7 months. It's a little bit difficult for me to generate self compassion for myself, and it is during times like this when I understand the importance of support system. It is the times
Yes.
like this when I understand the meaning of man is a social animal, and it's for a reason. You're not going to be your best all the time, but even if one person in the room out of 100 people is going to believe that you got this, then you actually are the most fortunate person in this planet at that moment.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely. So, two big takeaways from for me personally from this rival. One is new day, new me. Just reframing the fact about the new year, new me. One is new day, new me, and the second one is new year, not me, not new me.
Yeah.
That was what you said, right? So these two are like my biggest takeaways. Is there anything else that you want to add when we think about new year, new me? Anything that we might have missed? Anything that I
Yeah.
might have missed asking?
Uh, just one thing, don't take it too seriously.
Yes,
That is very important
very
because you have
important.
to have that humor. You have to have that sense of humor when you are trying to
Yes,
achieve your goal, and you will need it even more when you are failing to achieve your
yes,
goal. That is very important. And for me, the highest form of wisdom is humor, not
yes,
the self deprecating one, a healthy, adaptive humor. So don't take it too seriously. It's just going to happen. Go with the flow and be
yes,
prepared to fall. And it's okay. You just have to get back up when you fall. That's it. Take it
absolutely.
easy.
So thank you so much for that very, very insightful conversation. I had a
Thank
lot of
you.
fun
Same
just
here.
talking. I had a lot of learning also.
Same here.
You know, there were so many people watching and interacting. It was absolutely wonderful to see how much value this conversation could have added to, the audience who's watching. Um,
Unnati. Yeah. Thank you.
uh,
Thank
that
you.
is so wonderful. Everybody
Yes.
who's watching, thank you so much for joining and thank you so much for staying up until the end. We were very glad to have you. We were very glad to have this conversation for you all. Um,
Yes.
you know, absolutely amazing.
Yes.
And
Should
humor,
be.
like you said, humor has been such a big part of my life itself. And that's like that's a big conversation on its own. How it is so difficult to laugh at yourself, laugh at things that have happened to you, but it eases so
Yeah.
much. Without you realizing, it eases so much. But then again, it is a very thin line where it eases you and when it starts becoming self-deprecating,
Yes.
right? Because then that becomes a habit where you're just constantly laughing at everything and you're not doing anything about it,
Right.
right? We will definitely plan to have that conversation very soon.
Right.
Very interesting topic, another
Yes.
again. But thank you so much for joining. Thank you so much, Heena ma'am, for being
Thank
here
you.
and
Thank
giving
you
me
for
the
that.
opportunity to talk to you
Yes.
about this topic. Thank you, everybody who joined. See you all soon.
Bye.